Okay, golfers, today we are hopping in the sand and we are going to crush some bunker shots. I know there's some of you that absolutely get so scared, start shaking when your ball goes into the sand, but I promise you, after today's lesson, you're gonna feel super confident that you can get out every single time. So make sure you stay tuned. Shot number one that we're gonna talk about, just calling it a level 1 bunker shot. So this is gonna be perfect for those of you that struggle just to even get out. Okay, so very basic. We're gonna get out, might not be super close to the hole, but it's gonna get us out of the bunker, which is always our number one goal. Okay, so in our setup for this level 1 bunker shot, we're gonna have our stance, our feet, a little bit wider than they would be for a normal shot, right? So a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. I'm gonna kind of flare my toes out a little bit. Ball position wise, I'm gonna have it a little bit forward of center. And then with my weight and my pressure, I like to call this like we're surfing a little bit, right? So kind of with our lower body, we're kind of pushing into our left side a little bit, right? Not doing it with our spine and our upper body, but just kind of surfing a little bit left with that lower body so you feel a little bit more pressure left. We're gonna keep our club face perfectly square for this shot, okay? We're not gonna open it up, keep it nice and square. And we're gonna keep our stance nice and square. We're not gonna open it up or do anything crazy. So square stance, square club face, surfing a little bit left. Now my intention for this shot, for my in swing thoughts here, I'm gonna make sure that I take a big enough swing where I can get this kind of 90-degree L position here with my wrist. I need to make sure that I hinge my wrist so I can have enough speed when I come down to the ball, because we're gonna be hitting the sand first, and that sand is gonna act as like a pillow or a cushion in between the club face and the ball. And so if we don't have enough speed, the ball's simply not gonna have enough power to get out. So we need that speed. So backswing wise, nice big L. And then my intention through the ball is to feel like I'm gonna splash that sand behind the golf ball all the way onto the green. That's my intention. Or you can imagine there's somebody standing right up there on the grass lip that you really don't like, and you're trying to spray them with sand. You can think about whatever you want, but I need to have the intention that I'm gonna splash that sand all the way to the green. Okay, so a little wider stance, ball position forward of center, surfing a little bit left with my pressure, square club face. Now I'm gonna take a nice big swing with some hinge and splash that sand all the way to the hole. Okay, I'm out. So that is the most basic shot that will guarantee that you can get out of the bunker every single time. Like I said, might not be super close every time depending on the scenario of where the flag is, but that is a simple way without having to think of a lot of different setup dynamics that we can guarantee that we'll get out every single time. So for shot number 2, right, these are for those of us that feel, okay, that basic shot, I can do that every single time. Now I want to be able to hit a higher, softer shot, right? A little bit more technical, but still very, very manageable if we know what we're trying to do. Okay, so if you have that level 1 shot down and want to start experimenting with maybe getting the ball a little bit closer if that pin is tucked close to you, or there's a little bit higher lip in front of you, and we want to make sure that we kind of get maximum height and stopping ability, this is going to be that shot. So setup wise, ball position still going to be slightly forward of center. I might even go even a little bit wider with my stance and foot flare. I'm now going to open my club face. Okay, so if a square face is at 12 o'clock with those grooves pointing straight up to the sky, I'm gonna open that club face to where that leading edge is probably at 2 o'clock on a clock. Now, the key is when you open it, we re-grip it at that point, right? If I just twist my hands, the club face is gonna return back to square. So I'm gonna open the face up to 2 o'clock, then take my grip, okay? Now, I'm also going to get a little bit lower. I'm gonna squat a little bit, and I'm also gonna lower the handle of the club. That's going to allow even more loft to be presented. And even though it looks like that club face is pointed to the right, it's not. The loft is actually pointing just really straight up. So we don't have to aim left or anything like that. We can keep a square stance, opening that face, a little bit lower, handle down. And now as I come through, again, this is for max height and loft, I'm still gonna take a nice big swing with that wrist hinge. But as I come down, I want to feel like by the time my hands kind of get right back to the middle of my body, that the grip of end of the grip here is gonna basically stay there, and I'm gonna let that club face pass my hands. Okay, so by the time we're at impact, that club face has at least lined back up with the shaft. Again, you can see how much more loft is presented there, right? Versus me holding this angle, I'm gonna come in with that club de-lofted, which is not what we want for this high, soft bunker shot. Okay, so I'm gonna feel, once I'm here, I'm really gonna feel, especially that right hand, I'm kind of coming in and like slapping the sand. I'm gonna let my wrist come through and extend so you can see when I finish how that club face is still pointed at me. That means that I've kept that loft on the club throughout the whole shot. Because it doesn't do us any good, even if we start with a lot of loft, if we get it back to square at impact, right? So we wanna make sure that we're maintaining that loft and letting that club slide right underneath the golf ball. So we've got open face, grooves at 2 o'clock. Gonna regrip it. Got a little bit wider stance, ball position forward. I'm gonna surf left. I'm gonna squat, lower the handle a little bit. Big swing, and then feel like I'm gonna let that club head surpass my hands as I slap that sand through impact. Okay, so got over this lip. Okay, we'll do one more here. And you have to be confident with this swing. If you decel or don't give it enough speed, especially with the amount of loft we have, you're simply just not gonna have enough power to get out. So we have to 100% commit to this nice big swing with some speed. Surf left, club head, past my hands. Oh yeah, that one really nipped really good there. Okay, so level 2 here, a little bit higher, softer bunker shot if the scenario calls for it. Okay, so shot number 3. This is a scenario where maybe you're in kind of the back part of a bunker, you got a lot of green, and the flag might be 25, 30 yards away. So we don't need a high shot. We have plenty of room to let the ball once it rolls on the green. And we don't want to get too cute with our highest lofted club, making sure we don't take too much sand, knowing we won't get enough distance. So if we have a longer bunker shot, still greenside bunker shot, I'm gonna take my pitching wedge, okay, that has less loft. And if I swing it the exact same way that I did my sand wedge, it's going to come out lower and roll more, okay, which is in the scenario that we're imagining is what we need. Okay, so in this scenario, I'm gonna pretend like I'm trying to fly this kind of to the back of the green because I'm just gonna stay in the same bunker. So I'm still gonna open my face slightly, okay, and then regrip it. And I'm going to feel, because again, not looking for max height here, looking for more, make sure I'm getting out and then letting that ball release and roll out to the flag. So I'm going to kind of minimize the amount of hinge I have. I'll still let the club hinge a little bit, but I'm gonna have kind of a little bit rounder, lower swing. That's gonna allow the ball to come out a little bit lower and roll. So club face slightly open, surfing left, ball position a little forward, a little bit less hinge on either side. Gonna have kind of a shorter follow through, letting that ball get out and then come out low and release. That was perfect. So I probably flew to the back of this green, a little bit lower, would release back if this green was longer. So great shot for a longer greenside bunker shot where we want to make sure that we can have the ball roll out once we get onto the green. So take less lofted club. Even with this pitching wedge, I've got a pretty good lip here in front of me. Still plenty of loft to get the ball up in the air as long as I splash the sand. Just gonna roll out. It's gonna carry a little bit further onto the green, come out lower so it'll roll out to a back flag position there. So great shot for our shot number 3. Okay, y'all, so there's those 3 levels of bunker shot. We've got the super basic shot, we got the higher, softer shot, and we have the longer bunker shot. And I promise you, if you can work on these, you will become a bunker king or queen. And next time you go in the sand, you're gonna feel super confident that you can not only get it out, but also get it close to the hole. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. And if you'd like to work with me a little bit more one-on-one individually, we can do so through the Skillest app, and I have that link down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you later.